All right. Hey guys, what's up? It's good to be back in Virginia. Although it was also nice to be out in Salt Lake City. I'm just getting back from the Western Hunt Expo out there in Salt Lake City. And if you've never been before, I definitely recommend you check it out. It is, a bit of a haul out there if you're from the East Coast, but even if you're a little closer to there, or if you live out west, it's definitely worth it. But it was really cool for me getting a chance to go out there, mainly because, I spent this last year podcasting and meeting folks, via Zoom, in the hunting industry, and to be able to just go around and meet everybody in person and shake hands and kind of see everybody in person for the first time was really cool. I literally was running all around that place. It's a huge convention center, but I looked at my phone after the first day of being there. I literally put on 8 miles just walking around the convention center, talking and meeting, talking to and meeting everyone I could. So it was really cool. Also, here in Virginia, I can't just go down the street to a store and check out, a really nice pair of hunting boots or a hunting pack, or really any of this gear, or get my hands on a really nice rifle. There's just not that much opportunity for that kind of stuff around here. So, and there's a couple of bigger gear items that I needed to kind of add to my repertoire, before this season starts. So, to be able to go out there and kind of get my hands on and really just compare all different types of packs and shelters. I looked at some rifles and talked to the people who work there and stuff. Just really cool and, really valuable if you're in the market for some bigger gear items that, it's just really helpful to be able to try stuff on, to look at it, to feel it, to touch it, to compare it to other manufacturers, to talk to the people that make them and design them. So that was really awesome. I looked at some really cool stuff from Seek Outside, their shelters, their stoves, Initial Ascent. I gotta say, I was very impressed with the Initial Ascent pack frame. The guys put it on my back and with weight, and they were like, how much weight you think that is? And I thought it was like 35 pounds. I was like, yeah, 35. And they're like, yeah, it's 65. And they handed it to me. And I was like, whoa. So like, it carries a load incredibly well. I'm still waiting. Hopefully at some point they're going to release a little bit bigger pack for me for some of my longer 10-day hunts and stuff. But anyway, Seek Outside also makes some really great packs that are coming out. I looked at Stone Glacier packs. I looked at rifles from, Nosler all the way to Browning to Seekins Precision. I'm looking to probably add a 30 caliber to my lineup for this elk tag I got this year and other hunts coming up. So anyway, just got a chance to really check out a lot of different brands and see some cool stuff and meet some really great folks. So the second day of the show, I did record some podcasts. And this episode is going to be kind of a mashup of a few of the conversations I had. And, to be honest, podcasting was not my number one goal of going out there to the show. My goal mainly was really just to get my face out there, meet people, shake some hands, do some networking. But on the second day, I did have some time to record a few podcasts. And so the first one is actually with me and Guy from Western Contours podcast, where he's actually interviewing me. And the episode ran on his podcast, but I figure I'll just, put it out here on mine as well. So you can hear that. And then I have a conversation with Brady and Trail from Go Hunt about some of their new mapping software that's really cool. Then I met these two guys from Canada who run a YouTube channel called Alpine Carnivore, and they're doing some really good stuff. They're kind of all in to the filmmaking side of things. Really good hunters, really cool, nice guys as well. And they had a crazy season. He's almost finished a sheep slam. They're cool guys. So I caught up with them a little bit. Let's see. Then I caught up with Joe and Dennis from Initial Ascent. Again, just really great guys. Kind of salt of the earth. buddies that met in church and started designing packs. And again, I was really impressed with their pack frame system. So that's a cool conversation. I'm going to have them back on for a longer episode later, but this is just a little teaser. And then I had a nice, pretty decent long conversation with Mark Leveson from Treeline Pursuits. I got to spend some time with Mark around the Peaks booth and with Brian and Brad and Lampers and those guys. Really nice guy, really knowledgeable, easy to talk to. So he dropped some cool bear hunting knowledge and some cool stuff that is in his Treeline Pursuits Academy course, which is an e-scouting course, which I highly recommend you check out. I'm going to actually do that course this year, and he just gave me a tidbit of some of the tips in there, and it is a very powerful course and just kind of enables you to do some really cool stuff. So it's definitely worth it. It kind of takes you to that next level. But anyway, like I said, it's just kind of a mashup episode here. And then I did get a chance to do a longer podcast with Brian Call and Brad Hunt at their Airbnb, which will run on Gritty, and I'm going to put it on here as well. Mainly about Arizona again, but and kind of what we got in the works for this year. Going to be doing some more work with those guys, and it looks like my Kodiak film will actually be airing on the Gritty YouTube channel. It's good. It's good for both of us because I'll get some more eyeballs on the film, and also, Brian and them, they'll get some more content. So look forward to that. Look for more of that kind of stuff in the future. I think I'm going to team up with them for bear this year and possibly more. I'm actually headed back out there to hang out with Brian and do some stuff next week. So anyway, lots of cool stuff on the radar for this year. This is a pretty cool episode. It's all recorded live, like I said, at the Western Hunting Expo, so there's a little background noise, but have some good conversations, and there's more to come. So enjoy this one, and we'll see you on the next episode. Thanks, guys.
What's happening, brother?
What's up, dude? It's good to meet you in person.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I was happy to. It's always nice when you get to these places and you get to put a face to the name and shake hands.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've been talking to people for the past year, on Zoom.
Yep.
And I live on the East Coast. So, I built a little network of, it's probably like 30, 40 guys that I talked to that never met, and just been spending all day yesterday. I literally put on 8 miles. I looked at my phone, just walking around,
here.
in here.
It's easy to do.
Just in here, yeah.
It's
and just meeting people that I've talked to but never met. So that's really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So Hunter McWaters, Hunter's Quest podcast, dude, you've kind of gone like this.
Oh yeah.
Right. That
I've
trajectory. Yeah. You've had some. We did the Heather Kelly's Founder Speaker Series.
Yeah,
right?
that was good.
And then to watch it. To watch your trajectory has been great, man. I know you were hungry then, and kind of just trying to get your foot in.
Yeah.
And I think you've found your path.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of that's through prayer.
Absolutely,
you know what
dude.
I mean?
Yeah.
But it's been nice to watch it, right?
Appreciate that.
You in life you come across a lot of people, right? And some people just resonate with you for whatever reason, right? And you seem like a very genuine person.
No, I appreciate
right?
that.
So for me to witness you, and that trajectory doing, man, it's a good thing, right? It's
thanks,
like,
brother.
man, it's good to see good people do what they want to do, right? It's been awesome to watch. It's been awesome to watch so far. I'm excited to see, what's to come.
Yeah, man.
So how'd that look, man? Give me the background on it. It went from Founder Speaker Series, like, what am I going to do and how am I going to do this?
Right.
To it almost seems like Hunter was just like, oh, I got this mess figured out now.
Well, yeah, definitely, the Lord has directed my paths in ways that have put me in good position. So when I started the Founder Speaker Series, I started the podcast about, 8 months before that. Didn't have really much idea of what I was going to do. I just wanted to do something because, I started Western hunting and it just like changed my life. I mean, literally, it sounds cliche, but it did.
No, it does.
Yeah, I lost a ton of weight. I got healthy. It reignited. I've always hunted, but it reignited my passion for hunting. Is like a new thing. So anyway, started the podcast, and I professionally have a background in in filmmaking. I was a producer on a TV show called The 700 Club. I was a cam operator for 2 years, and I was a producer for 5 years. And so I had this background, and I found that basically there's a lot of guys who are better hunters than me, a lot, and there's a lot of guys who are better videographers, producers than me. But the list of guys who are like pretty good at both is relatively short. So I was able to I got in with Dan Staten, and I did a trip with him, filming for him, and that kind of opened up a lot of doors just because I think people saw like, oh, this guy's legit. He can physically keep up with Dan in the mountains. So I think that opens up some doors. And then I did a podcast with Brian Call, and we kind of hit it off. And he invited me to go out to Arizona with him and Brad for about a week, just to kind of see if we could work together, I think. And so I just finished my first film from my Kodiak trip last year. So I'm going more into the film side of things. I'm just continue the podcast, but the film is where kind of my skill set is more value, I think. So anyway, so the Kodiak film is supposed to air on the Gritty YouTube channel, which is exciting because it'll get kind of more views. If I drop it on mine, I'll be lucky if I get a couple thousand views. If he drops it, I'll probably get quite a few more, and it'll help him get some content. I think there'll be more collaboration there in the future, potentially with other, So looking forward to what's ahead, man. And yeah, definitely got to give glory to God for sure. But it's been just awesome meeting guys like you that have been at it and working hard at it for a long time. Really knowledgeable guys, and so I'm blessed, man.
So I love Dan Staten, man. That guy.
He's going to be here in like 2 hours. I just found out.
Yeah, I was trying to punk him for an episode. So, Dan, you better get on with me. But it's nice, right? And like I said, you come across people, right? And I got you guys beating the ears, but nonetheless, genuine people, right? People that have, like with Dan, right, in particular, he has a passion for something, and he's solely sharing, at least my take on him, is he's solely sharing that passion for passion's sake.
For sure.
And spreading that for the sake of, he just loves it. He loves it that much.
Dude.
And does that translate from him to you?
Oh, dude, like I was going to say, like, if there's one dude that I know that, like, embodies the word passion, it's that dude. I spent 9 days with him from dark in the morning to dark at night, going after elk in New Mexico, and probably the toughest unit to hunt elk in New Mexico. The dude was nonstop. I mean, if he took a break for 1 second, he was on his maps, like just scheming, like where are we trying next? What are we doing next? He was up, at night, sending out locator bugles, like just trying to find elk. I mean, that dude is passionate for sure. And some people that can come across as like off-putting, maybe. I think he's a great dude, genuine guy. I would consider him a good friend, and yeah, he's definitely passionate for sure.
Yeah, I mean the way he presents it, right? And Dan and I podcast a while ago, and delayed gratification.
Yeah.
Right. That's a big deal. That was one of the things when I first started following and listening to him that stood out to me.
Yep.
Because we want everything on a push of a button, right?
Yeah.
And in the elk woods, I mean, any hunting, it really doesn't come like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that was one of the things that stood out. And then, like I said, over time, you just watch that guy, and it's like his work ethic, it'll make you sick.
Yeah, dude.
It'll make you sick at times.
I think the biggest thing that I took away from my time with Dan, which it may sound cliche, but it just really resonated with me, was there's so many things on an elk hunt or any hunt that you cannot control. There's two things you can control, which no matter what happens will determine your outcome, whether you tag out or not, and that's your effort and your attitude.
Yes, sir.
So that was what he kept saying. We're gonna keep charging hard, and we're gonna keep a good positive attitude, and we did. And the hunt, if you guys saw the episodes about it or the YouTube stuff, it was a tough hunt. I don't want to go on all the details, but even though it ended in a tough way and we had dealt with some crazy stuff, it was an awesome experience because we worked hard and we stayed positive and we had fun.
How did it look? How did it look for you, right? Coming out from back east,
Yeah.
And then I got to keep up with Dan Staten and show him I'm worth my salt with this camera.
Yeah, dude. So he was super cool from the beginning, very professional. Expectations were known from the beginning. He didn't intentionally do it, but I think I got a little bit of a test on the first day. The first day, I was looking at my track last night. we lost 4,000 and gained 4,000. I think we did close to 12 miles or something. So that was a tough day. And I remember like that first night, kind of laying in my tent. And I don't know if you ever had those nights where you exert yourself really hard, but you can't sleep. Yeah. I could not sleep, and I was like, dude, like if this is what every single day is like, I don't know if I can do this. But I was like, I know one thing, I'm not tapping out. I'm not flying home early, so I'm gonna have to put my big boy pants on. Thank the Lord, that was like the hardest day. We did have other hard days, not saying that, but
wasn't 11 miles every day.
It wasn't 11 miles and like 8,000 feet every day, but yeah, I mean, I trained hard. I knew what I was getting myself into. I worked hard all year to get, you know, in shape. The last thing I want to do ever is slow anybody down. So I just made it my priority. I'm going to be an asset in camp. I'm going to be up 30 minutes before these guys are up making coffee and getting my cameras ready. When they're ready to go, I'm going to be already ready to go. And I'm not going to stop. And I'm just going to give it my all. And that's what you got to do. And it worked out, you know?
That's awesome, man. But that's the work ethic that it's going to take, right?
And staying positive, man.
Yeah.
You can be the hardest worker out there. If you're whining and complaining the whole time, no one wants to be around that.
Right.
So that's huge, man.
Especially being a tag along, so to speak.
Sure.
Right? I mean, you're literally the third wheel, and anytime you drag somebody into the woods with you, there's an element that you're uncertain of if you haven't hunted with them, right? Noise, it's more smell, you know, it's more everything.
For sure.
So trying to, and good on them for taking the chance. You know what I mean? Good on them for taking the chance, but that means that, you know, they saw something in you, you know, and that's what I'm saying about you. Is there's something about you that, you know what I mean? Like,
I learned a lot from him, dude. It was awesome.
It's funny when we're on Zoom, and I think you get used to it, right? I've done 300 episodes or so, right? Maybe I haven't released all of them. But you start to learn how to get that eye-to-eye feel. You know what I mean? And there's just, like, sitting here with you right now, like, it's the same feeling, like, looking at you on
You do kind of get used to it.
Yeah, and it's just like, that's what I'm talking about. And there's people that you'll be on Zoom with, and then you meet them, and it's like, oh, no, that's not the person. That's one of those 300 that haven't been released. And it's definitely not the person, right? So good on you, man. I'm glad to see it.
Yeah, man, appreciate it.
How is Western, you said that, you know, Western hunting has reignited you and kind of changed you. Give us a little bit of that, man.
Yeah, so 2018, I was hitting the scales about 250 pounds. As I said, now I'm like a 175.
Yeah, buddy. Good on you, man.
And I just felt gross, man. And I mean, I need to get in shape. And so I started getting in shape. But then, and I wanted to get into Western hunting too. But I'm sure people can relate. I didn't know where to start. You know, it felt like overwhelming. So I had a good friend of mine, and it was all like I said, like God has been directing my path from the beginning. But a good friend of mine that same year, actually, he wasn't a good friend at the time. He was a friend of a friend I'd hunted with like a couple times, and we actually didn't really click that much. I was kind of in my like hippie phase, and he was like in the military, so we just didn't see eye to eye. But anyway, I straightened up a little bit, and he mellowed out a little bit. So we kind of, anyway, he was like, hey man, I'm going to Alaska on this walk-in caribou hunt. You know, it's gonna be tough, but are you down? And I was like, the timing was perfect, and I just said yes. And then I realized kind of what I was getting myself into, and what it's gonna be like to keep up with this guy. So I started training. So anyway, lost a ton of weight, got in shape, and just started this evolution. Just listening to podcasts, listening to your podcast some, and other great podcasts. Just consuming content to learn. And I've been hunting deer and waterfowl since I was 6-8 years old. But as people know, it's a totally different game. So I had to learn about backpacking. I had to learn about hiking. Training to hike, Western hunting, glassing. There's a lot of learning curve. But there's so many good resources out now. So anyway, through that, I went on that first trip. Didn't tag out, but it was a life-changing experience, man. And ever since then, it's been pretty much like that's when I started the podcast after that trip, and it's just kind of been like, it's who I am. Like hunting is who I am, and just kind of this rebirth, this kind of more active type of hunting. I still love deer hunting. It's harder to sit in a tree stand these days than it used to be. Not ragging on deer hunting, I still love it, but it's just me, man. And then combined with my experience with the camera, it's the stars seem to have aligned. And I don't mean that literally, but it's cool, man. It's been a great journey.
It's I got the chills when you were talking about, right, just boots on the ground. And there's this element for me that, like, we talk about being in the circle of life, right? But when you're on the ground and you're chasing an animal, there's something about going across that landscape the way we do, right? And how we have to be in tune with that, and then how we have to be in tune with ourselves, right? To climb those ridges and to, you know, look at those valleys and not think and just dive off in. And there's something spiritual about those experiences,
totally,
right?
Something just deep down that, like, it's, again, I'm not trying to rag on whitetail guys. I still am a whitetail guy. I still probably hunt whitetail till the day I die. But I feel like this is really a more full experience of actually hunting.
Right.
I mean, you are literally pursuing this animal. You're sneaking in on it. You're living in their environment, usually for days on end. It's a more immersive. I'm not going to say it's more complete. Well, I might say it is more complete. You know, it is more complete experience than walking out from your truck 300 yards, sitting down, going home at night. Again, love it. Still do that, but there's something like spiritual, something that really resonates deep down when you're in that environment for days on end and you're actually hunting these animals like an actual like predator, you know.
How many times a day do you stop and just go thank you when you're chasing on the mountain?
Yeah, man.
It's like it's never ending, and that's like one of my things at the end of the day, especially after day 10 when you're just getting pounded. That's the thing that brings me back to it, right? Is staying aware of how grateful I am of the ability and the opportunity to be out in God's creation, just doing that, right? Just getting to experience it in that way,
right?
Dude, that's my ritual every day, no matter how good, bad, or ugly the day is, how great it is. It's harder on the days that are really good to remember to do it, and I just say it. It's like, thank you for the opportunity and the ability to do this.
And there's challenges and stuff with public land. A lot of guys like to get negative and But at the same time, we're so blessed to like live in a place where we have access to public land and we can grab a gun and go chase these animals or grab a bow. I mean, there's a lot of countries in the world you can't do that.
A couple of states that are trying to stop it full on.
I mean, we definitely got to watch that. But we've been blessed to this point.
So, talk about the podcast a little bit, man.
Yeah, so the podcast, like I said, there's tons of great content out there about, learning how to backpack hunt, learning how to backcountry hunt. And the stuff I really gravitated to was the stuff that kind of delved a little deeper. I love the skills and tactics and gear stuff. That's very important. But also the stuff that really delved deeper into like mental toughness and that kind of side of things. I really found myself really attracted to that. Because like I said, it was more about hunting to me. It was a life transformation. And so I was like, man, if I could hit, and then I started noticing that a lot of these guys, like your Dan Statons or Adam Weatherby, guys like that, I'm missing a bunch, but are believers. Adam Weatherby was a pastor for 14 years. People probably don't even know that. But the spiritual side of things was never really addressed. And there was some Christian outdoor podcasts, and they're great. They're out there. I love them. A lot of them have more of a, I don't know how to say this in a nice way, maybe a little bit more preachy, and I don't mean that in a negative way. There's a place for that. It's just that's not how I approach it. I like to talk to my guests about spirituality, about their spiritual connection. If it's their Christian faith, great. That's what I am. I'm a Christian. But I talk to LDS guys. I talk to other guests that have different spiritualities, or maybe they don't believe at all. But I like to bring, because like you said, whether you believe in Jesus or not, this type of hunting or experiencing nature is a spiritual experience. And however you define that, like I said, I'm a Christian, but it's still, no matter who you are, you can't deny there's a spiritual connection to nature and the land. And so I like to just to broach that topic with guys. And so I think that's been a little bit of a unique kind of niche I've been able to fit into, without just being another voice in the crowd. So it's been cool. I've gotten a pretty good response from it. So
that's good, man.
Yeah.
Shoot, brother.
Yeah, man,
Thank
it's
you
been
for
great
sitting
talking
down.
to you, dude.
It's good talking to you, man. It's good to, it's always good to shake hands.
Yeah.
Just keep that trajectory, bro.
I'm gonna try,
I
man.
can't wait to see what comes up, and I'm watching.
I appreciate
I'm
it,
watching.
dude. So yeah, we're here at the Hunt Expo 2022 in Salt Lake City, and I'm just getting a chance to catch up with Trail and Brady. I've talked to Trail before on the podcast.
Have you met Brady before?
I've met Brady like 30 minutes ago.
Okay.
But I have talked to you.
We're best friends now.
Brady?
I did Instagram message you about coming
Yep.
on.
Yep.
And it's just been crazy, but I want to get you back on for like a full episode.
Yeah, we
later,
definitely
but-
should.
Yeah.
I want to talk about anything,
Yeah, man.
especially deer.
Dude, you killed a couple monsters this year, or just
Yeah, I
one?
had a really good deer. Yeah, killed a good Colorado deer, killed a really good Idaho deer.
Nice.
Both hunts were what I really liked, struggle hunts.
The archery or
Rifle.
rifle? Okay, cool.
Yeah, Idaho hunt was just one of those ones where it snowed every single day. Hike super deep in there, try to go away from horses,
Yeah.
and then like have no water. So every day we're melting snow for water, and it's all powder snow.
Okay.
So you don't get any water content on it. So like
Just air.
you're hunting hard all day. Then once you get back, the hunt doesn't end because you have to like get a bunch of firewood
Yeah.
to then make water
Dude,
to
that's
melt the snow. And it's like I love those type of stories because like it just makes it that much more rewarding. You
Yeah.
have to get something.
And sorry, I'm kind of in the market for a new rifle. You're shooting X-Bolt, right?
Yep, Browning Expo,
You like
300
it?
Win Mag. Yeah, love it.
Shoots it really well.
Yeah.
I do
Do you
hand
have
load.
any customized stuff on there?
I do hand load everything,
Okay.
so like I'm getting a little bit more out of it. But like Chris Neville in our office, he shoots the same gun I do.
Okay.
Factory loads, and we're able to stack rounds down like 700 yards.
Projectiles are you running?
I do like 215 burgers.
Okay.
Yeah, he has
cool.
the Hornady ELDX, like 200 grain bullets.
Yeah,
like there's
yeah,
a
yeah.
factory. Those I think work perfectly in a Browning.
Are the burgers, sorry, we're going on a little bit rabbit trail here, but are the burgers, they lead core or are they like a mono?
No, they're lead. Yep.
Okay. All right. I shot copper monos this year and they did really well. But
Yeah,
anyway.
I shot some Barnes bullets this year too on my elk hunt, and
Okay.
they're phenomenal.
Well, just real quick, just for people, just like briefly, what do you guys do at Go Hunt?
You want to start me?
Yeah,
All right.
start
So
with-
yeah, basically, well, I think we both wear a lot of hats. First of all.
Yeah, I like to say with Brady and I are kind of the middle infielders.
Yeah.
You've probably seen Brady on your Instagram story a couple times.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
you-
we do
you
a lot
tell
of
me.
different things, but like my main title is head of editorial and social.
Okay.
So I basically manage all of our writers. I'm a big
Okay.
writer myself.
Yeah, that's right.
So I write a ton of articles. That's my passion is writing and just like helping people.
Nice.
And then I do all the photography work for Go Hunt, like all of our ads and stuff like
Cool.
that. I take all the photos for it while I'm
Take that
hunting.
picture?
Unfortunately, no.
That's Trail, right?
That was
That's me,
that's
yeah.
Trail. That was
So
the
you're
hunt-
also model.
yeah, Trail's a model.
Not a
That's
very
that part
good
of
one,
the
but
title.
that's me.
That's the hunt I didn't get an invite on, so it's a little
Oh,
sore
no.
subject. you
we
know?
were scouting it out for you just to make sure it was like up to snuff,
Okay.
Yeah.
and then bring you in on the back end.
Did you all
next-
fly in or
next
is that a
time.
haul road?
That's a fly-in drop camp.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep. So besides for that, we help test out all the insider product, give different insider feedback on
Yeah.
like what we want to do and seeing maps, what we want to see in an insider. And then we help out in the gear store a lot, just doing gear reviews, because like all the gear we carry is gear that we use. So it's
Yeah.
like make this natural that Trail or myself or Neville or even Brandon, talk about the gear. And
Yeah.
so like I said, we wear a lot of hats, but we try to stay focused, but it is hard. Like I just love the content world. And so that's where my big baby is at Go Hunt, is just making sure we have really good content for our users.
You guys are putting out some good content.
It's a fun time of year. This is the time of year that Trail and I always say like we just burn the midnight oil because it's application season, and
Yeah.
so like
Yeah.
Trail's cranking writing articles. I'm trying to build some articles. I'm trying to write some articles on the side. Like
Okay.
we work so many long hours,
I
but
bet.
it's rewarding because we give back to everyone right now, and it's
Yeah.
like if they like that piece of content and it makes them successful, like I feel that's a win.
Well,
That's all I look forward
I
to.
will say, like, it's not a sales pitch. These guys really do like helping people. Trail personally helped me out a couple times this year. I love Go Hunt. It's like an amazing research tool, and you guys all know what you're talking about with gear and everything. So,
Yep.
But yeah, Trail, what's your kind of gig?
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah, so it's kind of split. I mean, I would say this time of year primarily I'm writing. So, application strategy articles for guys that are insiders. We cover every state, every species, the application process.
Yeah.
Includes a whole bunch of data. I mean, we dive in deep into like all the biology reports, and we find this little nuggets that we can to like help our insiders find a hunt that suits them best.
Yeah.
So right now, that's mostly what I'm doing is just writing and research. So a lot of reading, a lot of crunching numbers, a lot of writing, and then I'll do that primarily through application season. Do some customer service. Talk to insiders, guys that have questions about where to hunt or where to burn their points, or how a state process works. I answer a lot of those, and then moving into like summer, I'd probably do more with like the gear shop and like selecting gear and customer service, and then content. So
Yeah.
Doing gear reviews or how-tos, methodology, that kind of thing. So
Sweet.
Charles, a wealth of information.
Yeah,
A lot of that knowledge is always up in his
I
head.
think what he means is I'm old.
Oh, yeah. He's wise.
Yeah, I've been applying for a lot of years in the West.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been kind of playing the game. I grew up here in a hunting family, so
Yeah.
I think a lot of that you just, as you do it, it's innate. You kind of you gain it. So it's like
Yep.
a lot of those things I have just at the top of my head. And,
Yeah.
I mean-
It's definitely like super intimidating when you first start looking at it.
Yep.
And then, but using a tool like Go Hunt is super helpful. And just kind of start small, like
Sure.
start with one state, one species maybe, and just kind of try to figure it out and then broaden out from there.
And that's the thing. I mean, I know how high that hurdle is to get into Western big game hunting. I mean, that's even if you have some hunting experience. Like say you've hunted whitetail out east. To come west, I understand how high that hurdle is. So if I can do anything to
Yeah.
help somebody, because I know what hunting means to me. I know the part it plays in my life and like the adventure and how much emphasis I put on planning for those every year.
Yeah.
If I can help somebody kind of realize that within themselves, it's
Yeah.
really satisfying. Like
That's cool.
I really like it. Like I enjoy, hearing from you this year.
Yeah.
Kill a great antelope buck. I mean, you come out like it's awesome. I love that stuff.
Yeah. I texted trail pictures like, yeah, check it out, dude.
Yeah, we love all that stuff. Like that's what makes it all worth
great.
it, Like
Yeah.
when you help someone out and they send you messages later, like that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
It's
really
so cool.
Yeah. So, like I said, I use Go Hunt a ton for researching and like figuring out, what's going on this time of year, especially. But I know you guys have a lot of like more like mapping features and stuff like that you're kind of are pretty new, right?
Yep.
Pretty new.
And I'm just gonna be totally honest with you, I haven't really got my feet in there yet.
Sure.
So tell me a little bit about that, and for guys that maybe use it as a research tool but don't know much about the mapping stuff yet.
So to me, mapping is a great way to supplement everything else you're doing. Like even right now during application season, I might know some units that I kind of want to apply for, but I'll jump in over to our maps and I'll throw the unit boundaries on or throw the public land, private land boundaries on there. Then I'm also just like diving in and like looking at the terrain in 3D to fully see like
Oh, you got the 3D mapping?
3D mapping, yeah, it's full 3D mapping, so you can tilt it all the way down.
awesome.
You can see all those glassing points.
Yeah.
That just give me a better
You
idea.
can do it on Google Earth, but you don't have the same tools.
You know, the same tools. So now I can add, and I can drop all my waypoints in there right now while I'm like in the research phase. So then if I do draw that tag, I have all those waypoints I kind of mark, like potential glassing areas while I'm kind of e-scouting it, and they'll transfer into the mobile app when I go out in the field. So I'm able to like navigate the terrain, move around, see like, is this an actual unit I want to burn my points on? Does it have the glassable terrain that I like to hunt deer in?
Sure.
Or does the unit next door that I could also draw have better terrain, maybe a little bit more public land, and then I'm able to move it around, get a really good visual of it.
Yeah.
And then now too with our like terrain analysis tool we just came out with, which is a super cool like thing you can use in 3D, where you can basically say, show me all the east-facing slopes with some south-facing slopes at one time. So start highlighting all these areas, and you can do by slope aspect. You can use this tool to find flat camping spots. We have a flat layer.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
So
That's
you can
cool.
basically, when you're out in the mountains, like you're always like, man, where's a good area to camp? Like you can turn the flat layer on ahead of time for e-scouting on the computer and mark those little flat camp areas.
Wow.
So while you go out there, like, hey, I already saw this area was a big 30-meter section. I know I can pitch a
That's
tent
sweet.
there because I marked it. And so I've been doing with the terrain analysis tool. It might sound like super confusing at first, but I'm taking like all my old mule deer data in the unit. I know where I've glassed up bucks. I know where I've killed deer. And I'm starting to determine a pattern of what space these deer are on and what elevations I'm killing them on. And now I'm able to take that, extrapolate it, and look into other units that might have that similar terrain feature
For sure.
or similar slope or what it is why those deer are there.
Yeah.
And I think like I'm having a leg up because I can use that data for other hunts or use that data in the same unit. There was a bunch of other hunter pressure there, but there's basins beyond there that have the similar features that I've been finding deer on.
Yeah.
Nice.
And even like right now, shed hunting?
Yeah, I mean, I use it for a very similar. I mean, if I'm archery elk hunting, I'm looking for big north-facing, timber bedding pockets. Flat layer is awesome. You can lay those in and kind of look for those
Find those benches,
saddles. You can find those little wet meadows and seeps, where those bulls are going to cruise through and wallow.
Yeah.
That's a really cool tool. I mean, the elevation tool is really cool.
Yep.
Right now, I used to do a lot of shed hunting. I want to get back more into it and do more of it when I can find the time. It's a time crunch now, but I mean, big south-facing slopes, ridge lines. It's so easy to highlight and look at a landscape level with this tool.
Yeah, especially for like spring bear hunting, because I'm
Same
planning on a
spring
spring
bear
bear hunt right now, and I can turn
Me
on
too.
the south-facing slope, so I can see a giant mountain range in the unit. I can see all the big south-facing areas, and then I can like adjust the transparency so I can still see through it. And be like, was that south-facing timbered, or was it open? Does it look like I have a bunch of like green vegetation on there?
That's
and then I
sweet.
can use the same elevation thing, and I can narrow it down to only show me south-facing slopes at a certain elevation range. Maybe I've seen bears in that area before. I know bears usually hang out, 8,000 feet in that spot.
Yeah.
I can kind of hone that in.
Nice,
So it's giving
dude.
you a big giant leg up on your
Yeah, I'm
e-scouting
definitely
efforts.
have to dive more into that.
Yeah,
And then you
So-
can drop waypoints at the same time, like I said. And
I
it's,
mean, all the advancement, all the technology. I mean, you look at long-range rifles and guns. I mean, that's kind of changed the game. But I would say probably the one thing that's changed it more than anything is mapping
Yeah.
and aerial imagery.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're out on a landscape and you can pull up your phone and you can look at an aerial image of the landscape
Yeah.
and use that to be like, okay, this is my route. Or, for example, I remember being on an elk hunt in Wyoming. We had a bull bedded on a bench. And you get down in there and things look different. You made that approach from 1.5 miles away and you're in just straight timber and you're trying to figure out where the proper spot to pop out into that flat to get a shot at this bull. You can pull up your phone now, you have an aerial imagery, with tracking GPS, and you can pick the exact route you need to take to pop
that's
out in the
nice.
right spot. I mean, it's, in my opinion, mapping has been like one of the biggest gains in hunting.
Especially like if you're a dude like me, like I can't just go for a weekend scouting trip
Exactly.
to Montana.
Sure.
you can know the terrain like the back of your hand before you even go
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Like I go into a hunt with like 200 some waypoints of like backup spots, potential glassing areas,
And you
bunch of
gotta do
camping
that.
spots. And so I feel like I know everything there is to see before I get there. And then I get there, obviously things look a little steeper and nastier than what it always is.
Yeah.
But like even what Trail was saying, like I can use some of that terrain. Like if I'm hiking, all of a sudden I get to a bunch of thick brush. I can pop up my aerial imagery. Like I don't want to hike through that brush, but I could go over here 80 yards. There's an open clear cut, and I can walk up that clear cut and not bushwhack for 2 miles.
Yeah, you hunted Kodiak this year, right?
Yeah.
So I've hunted Kodiak before with a plain old Garmin GPS, right?
Okay,
Back in
yeah.
the day, no aerial imagery whatsoever. Worst pack out of my entire life. Okay, I mean 4 miles to the beach. It took us like 7 hours. It was a snowstorm. Had I had aerial imagery on a map, it would have taken us an hour.
Because you could
2
pick that
hours.
best route.
Because you could pull that up and be like, I don't want to go into that alder patch. We're going to go that way. So, yeah, big advantage.
Hold on one second. Yep.
Yeah, shoot me an email. I'll send you a bunch of
Lot
stuff.
of bears?
Yeah. Yep, no problem.
A lot of bears. But they were polite.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. That was so random.
Yeah.
That was red.
She had a map- she had a
She
mapping
probably didn't
question.
even know we were recording.
No, I probably didn't.
Yeah. But that's okay. See, they're so helpful, guys. Even when in the middle of a recording.
She wanted a question about maps. I gave her my email address. Told me
There you
shoot
go.
me an email, and I was going to give her a bunch of articles to help her out
that's
with
like
maps.
a perfect advertisement right there.
That was really fun.
So you guys can use, so with the mapping stuff, like just to reiterate, I know lots of guys run Onyx. You have similar capabilities with y'all's stuff now. You can,
Yep.
Because I've even had some. I don't want to bash anybody, but I had a couple waypoints disappear on me lately, or like some weird stuff happen. But I haven't tried y'all's in the field yet. And I'm assuming you can do offline
Sure.
maps and all that,
Yeah,
and
yep.
the quality's there. And,
I mean, Onyx has been, they've been kind of the industry standard,
Yeah.
right? And it's been the only game in town
Right.
for a really long time, and we've all used it. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, I used it, Brady's used it. Our maps will do everything that they do, plus we've also kind of refined the function of it. We're looking at it from a very, pure hunting
Yeah, I
standpoint.
think we are like more fully focused on hunting
Yeah.
tools.
yeah.
Like all those different layers for hunting.
Yeah, and then the functionality, and then just the layers, like Ray said, some
Yeah.
features that we think are particularly applicable to hunting.
Yeah.
Especially the West. That's kind of our focus, and so you get everything under your one subscription. So for your $150, you get all the draw odds, all the
Right.
filtering, all the application strategy articles. You get maps,
Right.
downloadable to your phone.
And there are probably a lot of people that are paying already for
Both.
Go Hunt and not using it
Sure.
and have
Yeah,
on
and now they
it.
get maps on
myself-
top of it. So that's why we say, like Trail's saying, it's a 365-day
Right.
product now. You have research, scouting, gear shop, and then roll in a season with maps. And the coolest thing is, like I said, everything you do on the web map transfers over to your mobile phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can add notes
Oh,
to
that's cool.
everything. And the one thing I really like too about our maps is we have a folder structure, which is called like collections. I think it's going to change eventually to hunts.
Collections.
But yeah, it's a collection folder. So I can say I have a 2022 Colorado deer hunt. I can start dropping all those waypoints in that folder so
nice.
it stays organized. So I can turn off everything else. Like I have, thousands upon thousands of waypoints in, all these different states, but it makes your map look cluttered, and I can just turn off everything else, just focus on Colorado, and then I can share that collection with Trail. If Trail and I are going on a hunt together, I can share him.
You share with me.
I can share, I can share you 200 waypoints at once. It's no longer one waypoint at a time. So it saves a bunch of time. I can share everything with him. He can start adding to it. So we hunting together, we can go into the field with a better plan, and we all know the game plan. We all know we're going to camp ahead of time. It's not like I only have the waypoints and you don't.
Yeah. Maybe your password protect that.
Actually, and it's one link. So once you share that link can only be clicked on once and it goes away. So he can't then share it with his buddies. I get full control.
Nice.
And it's kind of cool. And I can and all of a sudden, like if we go on a hunt together, and all of a sudden Trail's like, I don't want to hunt with you ever again. I can instantly revoke all those waypoints and get rid of them.
Nice.
So it's like it keeps you in control of your data because it's all yours.
That's cool. So you guys have thought about all that stuff. All right. Well, just last question. You guys got any cool adventures planned this year?
I got a lot of wild stuff.
We have Idaho.
We both picked up Idaho tags.
Archery elk?
Yeah, we went through that process. I picked up an archery elk tag and a rifle deer tag.
Did you get the one you wanted?
No, it was like my fourth choice, but it's a unit that I hunted when I was going to school in northern Utah. So I've been in the unit, I kind of understand it. I've got applications in for Wyoming elk, that deadline, Arizona elk. I kind of played that game, took more of a swing for the fences approach, but I've got 9 points in Utah, so I'm trying to figure out if I want to burn them on elk, and that's probably the one I'm really going to throw all in and draw a Utah elk tag, which is my home state, and kind of get back to the way I used to do. I used to spend a lot of time scouting, and I would have 1 or 2 permits a year, and I would really just scout my tail off and try to come up with an animal that I was really genuinely excited and enthusiastic about, and then the satisfaction I'd feel from hunting that hard and then killing that animal was something that I really enjoyed. So I kind of want to get back to that. So I might do that, just throw in on Utah elk and make that my main focus.
It is nice sometimes not having a ton of permits. Put more time into
It's fun, but it's also, you can get spread real thin. It's hard to do well across multiple states and species.
For sure.
Yeah, so like Trail, I got an Idaho deer tag. Wasn't the exact spot I wanted, but to me, if I have a tag anywhere in Idaho, I feel like I'm very fortunate, and I'll just do justice and do a bunch of research and try to find the animals on it. So I'm really excited for that Idaho deer hunt. That's with the rifle.
October,
nice. And then I'm just going to play the draws for everywhere else. I didn't apply for Wyoming elk. I just built points there because I'm not a big elk guy, but I have eventually.
You're a mule deer guy.
Yeah, eventually though, I'm going to have a slammer elk here. I just got to try to figure out how to fit those in there because I have double-digit points in every single Western state for elk.
That's amazing.
So I'm in a really good position to burn them. And I have to be careful, like how I apply for elk, because I always focus on mule deer. But eventually, I want to start, doing maybe one elk hunt a year. And start pounding those off. But hoping for a Colorado tag. Hoping I can maybe draw a Wyoming deer tag and get lucky. But I'm probably gonna be like Trail, and I might just try to do like 3 deer hunts and just call that good, or maybe just 2 and just do a lot more scouting and just try to find some bigger deer this year.
Sweet.
You've got a bunch of hunts planned out. What one? What 1 or 2 are you most?
The Idaho one's gonna be an adventure for sure. And then I'm gonna try to do. I should draw the Montana General Rifle tag this year. I get 2 points.
Yep.
Oh yeah, you'll draw.
So I should draw that. So looking forward to those, but I'm looking forward to bear hunting too. In May, probably gonna try Montana in May.
Yep, I got a Montana. I'm gonna do a Montana bear hunt again.
Nice, man. When are you going, like roughly?
Towards the end of May, I think. Right now we're kind of scheduling out.
Cool. So it's gonna be a wild year, but looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm excited to kick it out. That's why I want bear season here right now.
I know, man.
I already have the cabin fever thing. I just want to get out and go hunting again and coming to these shows like this too. It's like you see all this stuff, it's like you can't just not think about
salivating.
Get me out in the field. I just want to be out there.
I've bear hunted back home in the east, but I've never bear hunted out west. So I'm just gonna drive out to Montana, and I'm not leaving until I kill a bear.
Yep. And the nice thing about bear hunting too is you can do it as easy as a hunt as you want. Pass from some roads, closed logging roads, walk down them, or you can just go on a savage, nasty backcountry hunt. And
I'm gonna try that one.
Yeah,
that's why I try to do base camp and then do spike out for.
And there's a lot of bears too. It's like we see so many bears when we're out there. I think last year we saw 15 bears in 6 days.
That's awesome.
We were passing up a lot of bears we probably shouldn't have passed up. We were looking for some big giants, but the opportunity's there.
See, the cool thing about where I am, I don't care about giants yet. You know what I mean? Like, I'm happy
Until
with
you
a
see
good.
one, then you'll care a lot.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love giants, but
Yeah.
I don't have to have a giant.
Yep.
Yeah.
But anyway, thanks for your time, guys. It's been cool
Yes,
catching up with y'all.
I appreciate it.
I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Thank you, man.
Yeah. I'll see you guys around.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah.
All right. So here with Mitch and Travis. That's
right, yeah.
Alpine Carnivore, north of the border.
Yeah,
Thanks for coming down.
no problem, man. Thanks for having us.
Yeah. So stuff's kind of crazy in Canada right now, huh?
Yeah, a little bit. We're seeing a whole bunch of protests, which
Yeah.
is really cool. We're kind of envious a little bit because
Yeah.
we've been down in Mexico for 3 weeks, and now all this has been happening while we're gone. So
Yeah.
gonna get up there, grab the Canadian flag, and go wave it with the boys.
All right, well, I want to hear what you did in Mexico, but first of all, just tell people a little bit about Alpine Carnivore and like what you guys got going.
Yeah, for sure. So we've been doing this for almost a year now, I guess. Pretty
Since
close
the
to
start of April or mid-April.
Yeah, I've been filming for almost 2 years now, but we just really started releasing all of our content this year, putting everything out on YouTube and stuff.
Yeah.
And we got a contract with a TV network, so we're on Wild TV. It's like a Canadian outdoor network type deal. And yeah, we're just all about like backpack hunts, man.
Yeah.
So we do all over. Ideally, BC is like our main spot, but once winter hits, then we do a little bit more traveling and try and get to other spots and do as much backpack hunting as we possibly can, really.
So you guys like buddies from back in the day, or how?
Yeah, actually, so we grew up in a small, I think it's called Greenstone now, but it's a few different little towns amalgamated? Or
Yeah,
is that right?
amalgamated together, yeah.
No, in Ontario.
Ontario.
Northwestern Ontario, you know. I think it's 4.5 hours northeast of Thunder Bay, so we're in the boonies, man.
Okay, yeah,
We're in the middle of the bush, and I grew up in a small town called Nakina. Mitch grew up in a small town called Long Lac, and I'm a few years older than Mitch, but I think when I was graduating, he was coming into high school, so we met that way and through family friends and stuff like that.
Been hunting together for a while, or?
Yeah, I mean, we did a little bit of hunting back in Ontario together. So I used to guide a lot of bear hunts. My parents owned an outfitter.
nice.
And Trav was actually on another show called Hitman Canada. And so he came over, we did a bear hunt together, filmed that a bit. And then when I started doing this with my cameraman, Cheese, we decided to like get into it full time, and I was like, shit, we need another person. So I like bring up Trav. I'm like, hey, I got like the best job ever for you. All you do is plan hunts and come on hunts and like network.
gig.
And he's like, yeah, sounds pretty good. So he dropped all his stuff, sold everything, came across the country, moved to BC, and here we are.
Are you got family? Are you married? Or are you single?
No, I'm single. No like I got family, like my parents and
yeah.
stuff. My sister are back in Ontario
Okay,
still,
that's
but
good. So you got the freedom to just kind of drop
that's
everything.
right. I got a dog, which is kind of a pain in the ass when
Yeah.
you got going on a 1 month hunt kind of thing.
Yeah.
But,
Well, okay, so what kind of hunts did you guys get into this year? I checked out your YouTube channel. You got some awesome stuff on there, man. You guys definitely check it out. Alpine Carnivore. What kind of hunts you got on there right now?
So this year we did like the BC Slam, pretty much everything we could do in BC.
Yeah.
So we started off the year, we did spring bear, then spring turkey, and we got in a really cool hunt actually that I didn't know existed. It's Sitka blacktails on Haida Gwaii. And unfortunately we went a little bit early just because we couldn't get there when they're all hard-horned and stuff. But the population on that island is like 200,000 deer on like a really small island.
Yeah.
So we went out and we were seeing like 100 plus deer every day, real good bucks. And so we're definitely going back there this year when they're hard horned.
Yeah.
But that was a really cool hunt. You're allowed 15 deer per person per year. So it's,
yeah,
it's
five
incredible.
a day, 50 total. Yeah.
So we did that, and then we got into we went and did a combo hunt. So sheep, goat, and mountain caribou.
Yeah.
And we each killed some goats, but we almost killed a sheep. I just wasn't sure. We were at like 70 yards from what we now know is a legal ram.
Right.
But just didn't
Good
want
to err on
to.
the side of caution.
Yeah, exactly.
When
Didn't
you're
want to
not
risk
sure,
it.
you're not
I was
sure.
in that boat in Alaska a couple years ago on some small caribou bulls. As non-residents, you can't shoot cows.
Yep.
Weren't sure, we just did pull the trigger. It kind of sucked, but you got to do that. You know?
Exactly.
Gotta be responsible.
And then we got into, we did elk. I shot the biggest elk of my life this year, like a 9x7 bull, just a giant. He's just
Just a
about
tank.
400 inches.
9x7?
9x7, he's almost 400 inches, man.
Is that a
He's-
rifle or archery?
So it's during rifle season, but I wanted to get him, so I hunted all archery season, and then I kept my bow for rifle season. I was like determined.
that's
And then
legit.
we were, no, actually me and the cameraman Cheese, we're about to go to Newfoundland and do a caribou hunt, and I had one day, my last day, So I hunted the morning with my bow, and I stalked up to it might even be the same bull. I don't know. He was bedded in some stuff. I'm at like 35 yards. I'm like talking to the camera. I'm like, okay, we're gonna shoot. I go to draw, and then the wind switched, and he didn't even get up. He just like lunged forward and just disappeared on me. And I was like, no. So after that, I just grabbed my rifle. I was like, screw it, I'm just gonna shoot any bull I see. And we go back into that same spot, like 4 hours later, here comes 9x7, walking into 10 yards, and I had my rifle, and I killed him with the rifle.
Oh, well.
But yeah, it was,
Still got him.
I got him.
Dude, he's the biggest bull I've ever seen.
That's amazing. Dude.
Yeah.
So you guys have pretty good opportunity up in Canada. You said you can hunt sheep like every year, right?
Yeah, so all over the counter, man. So
that's crazy.
the cool thing is in BC, southern BC, you need like draw. It's a draw system. But northern BC, there's not very many people who hunt there. So you can get over the counter moose, caribou, sheep, goat, elk, whatever you want. Just every year get a tag and go,
awesome.
man.
Yeah, and it's fairly cheap tags as well.
Wow.
Like I think this fall I bought 5 tags. As I think 3 deer tags, elk tag, and a moose tag. It cost me $99.
That's awesome. What's it like? Well, you know, I don't want to get the jab, so I don't got Canada on my menu anytime soon. Hopefully that'll change.
Yeah.
But maybe for guys who are vaxxed, or maybe that'll change one day. What's it like for Americans going up there? Because I'd love to hunt Canada sometime.
So depends what province you're in.
Yeah.
British Columbia and Alberta are pretty easy. So what you do, you can either go with an outfitter, you can do that and just go.
Yeah.
Or if you get a buddy
Right.
who lives there, they can do something called hunter hosting you. So let's say you come up, you decide, hey, I want to go moose hunting. So you buy an out of province moose tag, which will cost you like $200 or something like that. Then we go out with you, we sponsor you. So we just like stay with you and we're good to go. Yeah. That's
It's
it.
just a little application process. It takes 2-3 weeks, maybe up to 5 weeks to know if you got the hunter host or a permit to accompany is what it's
Well,
called.
maybe if the stuff changes or something, maybe we could team up someday on a hunt or something.
Yeah, it'd be
That'd
cool.
fun.
Be very cool.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, we got a lot of opportunity up there, and it's like we're just scratching the surface. You know, 'cause I've lived in Ontario, and then for the last 5 years, I lived in Alberta.
Okay.
And Alberta was amazing, and then the wife and I decided to make a switch, move to BC, and now BC's like just a Shangri-La of hunting, man. It's like anything you want, it's there, and you can get after it. It's not easy. I mean, you're not chuck hunting.
Sure.
You got to do backpack style hunts.
That's the way we like it anyway.
But that's what we love. So for us, it's the best.
It's the best, yeah.
And now
cuts down the competition too.
That's it. And now I'm a pilot, so I this year I'm going to get myself a float plane, and that's just going to open up a whole new world
You
for
can fly,
us.
yeah. So one of my buddies and hunting partners just got a job recently with the Alaska Air National Guard.
Yeah.
And he's a pilot, obviously. So crossing my fingers, Lord willing, by 2024 I'll have a friend in Alaska that has a Cub.
That's cool.
I even told him
Super cool.
I might like partner him with buying the aircraft. So hope that works out.
That
but-
would be awesome.
Yeah.
Because,
So, but what were you guys doing down in Mexico?
Well,
Mexico.
I mean, Mexico, we had so I was there last year, did a Coos deer hunt. Awesome time.
I'm doing this coming January.
In Mexico?
Yeah.
With what outfitter?
I'm going with Jay Scott. We're
Jay
doing
Scott?
DIY.
Yeah.
but
So that's my favorite thing. Anything that we do, if it's possible, I want to do DIY.
I'm not knocking having a guide.
Yeah.
But like for me, when I have a guide, I just kind of mentally like almost
wanna
like check
follow-
out.
you wanna
just
follow
follow
that person.
Yeah. I like having to figure it out myself.
And that's exactly it.
That's
and
hunting. I mean,
for us, there's like 2 reasons, in my opinion, I would still use a guide. One, if I want to learn a new species.
Yeah.
And the second one is like if I absolutely can't do that hunt without having a guide. But even in that scenario, I still won't go with an outfitter unless they allow me to, you can still be there, obviously.
freedom.
But like,
Some freedom.
let's instead of, if we want to hike that mountain, not be like, no, you got to follow me, and let's and then they tell you when to shoot, and I don't want to do that. And not to knock anybody who does, it's just, for me personally, that's not the hunting experience I want.
for sure. Yeah, me either.
So when we were down in Mexico, we talked with, we used Coos Outfitters. This guy's name's Bobby, and he allowed us to do do-it-yourself Coos hunt. So we went out, did a backpack style it's all ranch properties, right? Because everything's private over there. It's not high fence or anything, but it's just private property.
Yeah.
So we got out there. We just like went 5 days hiking through the mountains. We killed 3 pretty good bucks. No giants, but there's nice
They're
deer.
tough to hunt, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, Mitch got it. He says no giants, but he got a very nice, mature mainframe 2-point that scored 92 inches.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a 2-point. And this thing had a couple busted off stickers, you know, and
he would have hit 100 without all the
he would have
breaks,
been over.
But anyway, it.
Just making sure we didn't hit the record limit. I hate that on that camera, but 92 inches on a 2-point.
Yeah, it's pretty cool looking 2-point for sure. And he did have he had a sticker here, and then what else is brow?
I think a brow tag.
Yeah,
broke
brow
or
busted
something like
off too. It's a cool
Were you
looking
pretty
buck.
close to the border, U.S. border, or are you pretty far south?
It's like an hour and a half, so
Okay.
about that.
It's a fun hunt, though?
Yeah,
Dude,
man, super.
Very nice terrain too. We were in for our goose hunt.
Yeah,
It's
it's like canyons
picturesque,
everywhere and super
Because I went
picturesque.
with Brian this year to do the archery in Arizona, and we got into bow range a couple times, but dude, those things are so hard to kill with a bow.
I bet.
I was like, yeah, I'm doing this rifle next year. Forget this, dude.
Well, we're thinking of doing Arizona next year, archery, and then going back and doing.
That'd be cool.
So double coos.
So you can spend a couple days bashing your head against a rock and not killing anything, and then just go
Either way, either do the one in Mexico first, and then spend as long as it takes in Arizona.
No, you guys will get it done, but I mean that's if you can kill a coos with the bow, I've seen it firsthand. You're legit.
Yeah.
I'm honestly indifferent. Coos, mule deer in Arizona, the tag's good for both.
Right.
Yeah.
We find a good buck bedded somewhere, we're gonna go after him, whatever it is.
For sure.
And then we jumped into the mule deer hunt. Mule deer hunt. So for us, a big thing with the backpack hunts is on these ranches, they're like, well, stay in our ranch house and we'll drive you around on a high rack. And I was like, it's not really what I want. So we'll just go camp up in the mountains. So he's like, well, there's no mule deer up there. I'm like, mule deer, mountains, come on, man, that's where they live. So we go up there, we spend 2 days, didn't see a mule
deer.
deer.
You guys will kind of go on to private land, but sort of treat it as a public land.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah, as much as if they let us, but ideally we try and pre-establish.
Like a trespass fee or whatever. Or they do landowner tags, or how does that work?
It's all landowner tags.
Okay.
Yeah, so the landowners in Mexico get whatever amount of tags.
Canada.
No, I'm talking about in Canada. It's all.
So you camped
public.
out and stuff up.
Yeah, in Mexico.
Okay.
So for this mule deer hunt, we went up into the mountain. They have a mountain section and a lot of flats.
Right.
So we went up there, thought we were gonna see some deer, but didn't see nothing. Saw one coos deer.
Yeah.
So me and the cameraman Cheese came down, and then Trav and my dad stayed up, and we came down and immediately found mule deer bucks.
Yeah.
So we got into what the hell do you call those? A big stand?
Tower stand.
Tower stand.
Yeah.
Stood up there, and it's way better because the brush down there is just so thick. It's hard to see through, and when you're walking, you're loud. And so we got up, found a buck, got down, and we got after him. And it was an hour and a half trying to find him, and then once we found him, it's 10 minutes of peekaboo through the brush, and eventually we killed him. He's a pretty solid deer, nice 4x4, 170, 75 class. So I was pretty stoked with him. The shitty thing, when we killed him, I go to start breaking him down. I open him up. He's full of worms inside. And then I cut up his esophagus, and all this white ooze was pouring out of his lungs, and it stunk really, really bad.
That's terrible.
And then I was like, I don't know if this is all right to eat or what. So I didn't discount it just yet. So I took the guts out, I skinned them, start going through the quarters, and as I cut through the front shoulder, all this I just got squirted with white just pus crap everywhere.
That's gnarly.
Yeah, it was all in my
There's
pants.
a video online.
There's gonna be our video will be up with that.
You got the video? Okay.
Anyway, so we were supposed to eat it right there, and I was like, probably not.
Nah.
So we packed it out. We slept with it that night because there's a lot of coyotes there. If we left it, they probably would have ate it. So slept with it there, and then in the morning we hiked it out, and the landowner's like, no, you do not eat this.
Yeah.
And then what he decides to do with it, he's like, well, we'll take care of some of those coyotes. So he takes all the meat, fills it with poison,
Oh, no way.
chops it up, and then goes and throws it all over the property.
Oh my God.
I was like, what the hell are you doing, man? He's like, well, it's fine. It's how we take care of
Mexican conservation.
Yeah, seriously, kill every single animal that eats meat out
That's
there.
not just coyotes, right?
Yeah.
Birds and stuff.
Birds,
Yeah. So
That's crazy, dude.
after that, we got into a pretty hairy scenario. Trav and my dad were still up in a mountain, and my truck didn't really have any gas to go back and get them. So we had to go into town, a little town called Chincheras. So I drive in there, look for gas, and it's just like a small town. There's no gas station. So I turn around, and I drive like a white Ford Raptor, red rims, kind of flashy. So I turn, and then I look down the road. It's a one-way, and there's this car that like blocked off the one-way street.
Yeah.
And this guy gets out, and he puts his window down, opens his door, and he points an AK-47 at us.
way.
I'm like, whoa, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then she's like, you should stop. I'm like, no, I'm not stopping. So I like drive around him, and you see him get on the radio. I'm like, hey, Cheese, we're going, man. And we start driving like, we're going like 40.
Yeah.
And this blue Dodge Ram comes out of like a side road and tries to ram the side of my truck.
way.
It's like, and so he comes in, I like swerve, and I hit the gas, and there's 4 armed, like 1 woman in the front, and then 3 other men all pointing AKs at us, yelling at us. I'm like, shit, and I hit the gas, and then another car comes up in front and cuts the whole road off. So I was like, Cheese, either we're ramming this car or we're stopping. He's like, just stop. So we stop, and then it was mayhem, man. These 4 people get out with their guns, 4 more come out of that car, and then there's 2 other cars that pulled up. They boxed us completely in, all AKs pointed at our heads, and they're like yelling in Spanish. And I like speak a bit of Spanish, but I pretended I didn't know anything. I was like, whoa, like, no. I was like, cazador, like, we're just hunters, man. And Cheese is Filipino, and he looks like Mexican. He's brown, right? And he's wearing like a little Mexican hat and shit. So they're like, in Spanish, they're like, you speak Spanish? And the guy got so mad, man. He starts like punching my truck, hitting my truck with the gun. He's like, you speak Spanish? And we're like, oh my God. And there's a kid there, he's like 16, and he's like this with a gun, like this far from Cheese's face, and he like ejects his live round and puts another live round in, with his finger on the trigger, and he's like waiting for his boss to give the okay to like waste us right there. And his boss is like, we're gonna kill you, everything in Spanish. I'm like, we're done, Cheese. And they like made us put the truck in park, took our phones away. And we're like 10 minutes of this. And then some guy comes up the side, and I like start chatting with him. And he was a lot cooler headed, and I was like, man, we're just hunters going to get gas. And he explained that he thought we were part of a rival cartel coming in and like, I don't know, trying to intercept their transmissions or something. It was mind blowing, man. Anyways, we ended up getting out of there and being safe, but yeah, very sketchy shit. Don't go to Trincheras.
Well, when I go down there, I'm not going into any town.
Yeah,
and don't drive a Ford Raptor. That's I think the main thing.
With red rims.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's cool, man. Well, tell me real quick what you guys got lined up for this year.
Man, we got another dream season. I mean, last year was great. This year now we know more of the areas that we can hunt and how to hunt certain species we never hunted before. So we just did, obviously, the coos, the mule deer, the bighorn sheep down in Mexico. Now we might be doing an aoudad hunt here in March. Maybe got some planning to figure out, but if that don't happen, we're doing some turkeys, and then we go into a major bear season. So we're doing 2 bears each, and then my wife and cameraman are each going to get one as well, so at least 6 bears.
6 bears.
And then after that, we're going to be doing, what month is that going to be?
That's kind of goes into June.
Right into probably sheep. We're going to do some stone sheep, and once we're done the stones, we come back, we go to Haida Gwaii, fly in there, do the Sitka blacktail hunt.
Nice.
From there, go do like a month of elk. So I got 2 elk tags. Trav has 1 down in Colorado. Nice. So we'll be doing a few different elk hunts there. Cool. And then moose, caribou, and then obviously mule deer and whitetail in the fall. So
and we're trying to get it. We're actually trying to get before that maybe a cat hunt somewhere in BC.
Oh yeah, that's right, a cougar.
Because we haven't done any of that before. So any kind of cat hunt might maybe before even the aoudad or the spring turkey stuff.
All right, well, thanks for y'all's time. Let's stay in touch and maybe get up sometime.
Yeah, sounds good.
Do a longer podcast when we get back.
That's good, man. I got your info there, so
right
on.
All right,
Beauty.
cool. All right, so I'm here with Dennis and Joe from Initial Ascent. How you guys doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Good. Yeah, we got just a quick little time slot in here to lay something down, but just give me like a real quick backstory on Initial Ascent, just get a feel for what's going on.
Yeah, so Dennis and I, we actually launched the company here in 2018. So yeah, since it was February 11th?
8th.
February 8th, 2018.
Yep.
Okay.
We launched the company, but we spent 3 years before that trying to figure out the frame and suspension that we wanted.
Yeah.
But kind of our backstory was 2 guys kind of met at church, through church, and both had a passion and desire. Dennis was probably doing more hunting than I was doing at the time. I was probably doing more backpacking.
Okay.
And just conversations led to, next thing you know, we're bear hunting together.
Cool.
And swapping stories and, hey, I like this about this gear, and I like this, and I like this about this pack. And that just evolved to us really just saying, hey, we feel like we could do something different here in the pack world.
Nice.
And we kind of toyed with it for, I don't know, we used to come to the show every year as our families together.
Right.
And we'd look at the gear, and then finally we just said one year, let's do this.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
Are you guys from Utah or from Idaho? Or somewhere else?
Idaho.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. So yeah, no, you guys have like a really like kind of loyal following. I know a lot of the guys that work in the booth and stuff have just been guys you know for a long time. They're just kind of like volunteering because they just really believe in what you guys are doing. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, we've got an amazing team around us.
Yeah.
And these guys, you know, a lot of these guys have been with us kind of right from the beginning.
Yeah. So I got a chance to try on your frame. I think Chris was helping me out, somebody, and he put the thing on me. He's like, all right, you know, how much you think that is? And I was like, 30, 35? And he pulled it off and handed it to me. I was like, oh, it's 65 pounds. And I couldn't believe it. I was genuinely impressed by how that thing carries a load. So what makes y'all's frame different? Why is it able to do that?
That's a great question. And that's what took us 3 years to come up with. Just tweaks. And I think by the time we released it, we were on our 14th or 15th iteration.
Wow.
Not all major changes, but there was, you know, we had to get the angles just right. We had to get the carbon fiber pointed in the right direction in certain areas. We had to stiffen it in certain areas. So, you know, the one thing about our frame is that it's rigid, you know, up top, or as you look at the vertical, but it still moves with you, so it flexes in the right point and that sort of thing.
Nice.
And so, and there's a lifetime warranty on our frame. And it was one of those deals where it was like you have a cookie and you didn't know the recipe.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. We worked with 3 engineering firms.
Okay.
And we're able to come up with what we've got today.
And so it's kind of a solid piece of carbon fiber, right?
So there's actually, I mean, there's a lot of different materials that go into it.
Okay.
It's a layering system, to Dennis's point. It's like a layered cake.
Okay.
There's over 14 layers in it.
Oh, wow.
You know, so there's a lot of different technology that goes into it. And the reality is, had we tried to do this 2 or 3 years before, some of the materials didn't exist.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I mean, it is truly
Cutting edge stuff.
Yeah, how fast the technology has evolved. So that point in time, it's just, you know, things lined up perfectly for us to have the opportunity to go create something really never been done before.
Yeah.
And one thing that, like, you know, might seem like a minor thing, but I noticed it's got like a integrated, like, it's like a rifle sling kind of thing, isn't it? Which actually is super nice because I mean, that's super annoying when you have your rifle and it's just like falling. And so you actually can put your rifle sling on that thing. Or?
Yeah, and when we came up with that, Joe would not let it rest until we got that right, because he thought that was a game changer.
It is. It is.
And I tell you what, it's been every bit of that. I'm glad we spent about 4 different iterations trying to get that particular thing right. And as you probably were told when you were trying it on, we've got guys that, including myself, that are actually hanging quarters up there on those limbs. Yeah. And the beautiful thing about it is just all physics, because it gets that weight as close to your center of gravity as you're going to have. Yeah. And there's just no other systems that can do that. And so we can carry an extreme amount of weight very comfortably. I mean, guys can walk straight up and down with 180 pounds on it.
That's crazy. Yeah, I think I saw a dude from Alpine Carnivore yesterday. He had like 180 pounds on him, I think. Yeah, I mean, I was genuinely impressed. I thought, like I said, that was 30 pounds and it was 65. So, and so what size packs do you offer now?
So we have different sizes. I mean, we range up from a day pack system that runs about 1,800 cubic inches all the way up to our 6,000, which that pack system is probably closer to 6,800 cubic inches. And then we've got a 4,000, which is closer to about 4,600.
Cool.
And then our 2K, which is about 25. So I mean, we've got the full range depending on what you're going after. Yeah. If you need to go to Alaska for 10 days, we've got you covered. Yeah. If you're day hunting from your truck, you know, we've got options for that as well.
Yeah. And it's a modular system, so one frame and suspension swaps all you can swap all the bags out on it. So and in seconds too.
That's really nice. Anything cool, exciting come down the line you can talk about now, or is it all secret stuff, or?
We will continue to stay busy.
Okay, cool.
That.
Yeah.
Cool. I had to ask. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you giving me a rundown of it, and I'd love to maybe jump on like a longer podcast when we get back home, and talk more in depth.
Yeah, it'd be
and
good to
stuff,
get to know you, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Thank
Appreciate you guys.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, so I'm here with Mark Leveson, the professor.
Well, the Elk Bros call me now the Topo Terror.
The Topo terrorist. What's going on, man?
Man, at the show, this place is packed. It's rocking.
I know, dude. It's wild today.
The Peaks World. I'm over at the Peaks booth right next to Initial Ascent here, and it's kind of nuts over there. I'm kind of glad you said podcast now because it's
Get you away a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, there's a lot of people here, a lot of stuff going on. You're good. So yeah, just tell folks that might not be familiar in my audience what's your deal, what's your story,
So, Mark Leveson, from Missouri originally. I started elk hunting in my 20s. I've been coming out west for about 27 years, I guess. And then finally my wife just said, we're done. You got to get away from our business. We own our own businesses, and you're working too much. And you're not getting to do what you like to do. So she's the one that said, we're moving west.
Nice.
And so she goes, you got 1 year to get everything in order. We're leaving on March 18th. And we left on March 18th.
Nice.
We sold everything we owned. We got a 26-foot box truck, put my hunting stuff in it, a few beds, sold everything else, drove to Montana, never been in the state before, and it was the best decision I ever made.
So you live in Montana? What part of Montana?
I live in Missoula, Montana now. So I'm in the elk hunting mecca of the world.
I'm going to be out there this spring, bear hunting, that area.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
So we live in Montana now. So a little background, like I said, I come from Missouri, but I would try to hunt at least 2 states a year from Missouri, so I'd make 2 or 3 trips a year. But now, the past 7 years, I've been in Montana. I hunt 3 to 4 states a year. Last year, I chased elk for about 65 days. I spent about half that time solo. And so...
You like hunting solo?
I do, but now I'm starting to... Now, in my younger days, I was solo.
Yeah.
And, but now I'm enjoying...
Yeah, it's fun to share it with somebody, yeah.
And I've kind of hooked up more with Brian Lampers and Brian Call. So we're doing more hunts together. We're filming. This is my first kind of thing in being filmed while I'm hunting.
Yeah.
But it's been fun. But it ain't easy.
Yeah.
As you know,
it's a whole new element.
I mean, I had so many problems on this bear hunt. Like, I couldn't shoot what I wanted to. Brian wasn't ready.
Yeah.
Cameras weren't on. My lapel, nothing. I'm like, dude, I need to kill him right now.
Yeah.
And so it adds a whole new complexity.
For sure.
And you're hauling all your
the
gear.
stuff.
And that's where I come in, is I have llamas, too.
Okay. You own your own llamas?
So, yeah, I have about, I guess by this year I should have close to 30 llamas.
Wow.
And are
you able to kind of run them all year, keep them in shape and stuff?
Yeah. I rent them.
Okay, cool.
So a lot of people rent llamas from me and go on family trips. And,
yeah.
Because it allows you to take your kids, and so I do a lot of rentals in the summer, and that helps me get my llamas in shape.
Yeah.
And then I rent some during hunting, but I don't have yet the volume of male packers. But in the next few years, I'll do more, in the season rentals. Yeah. So I moved to Montana, got llamas, started breeding llamas, started hunting like a freak, and I'm loving every second of it.
Yeah.
So a couple years ago, I decided that I was kind of surprised when I got out here how many dudes and gals that didn't really use Google Earth at its full potential, didn't really understand where elk want to live, didn't really understand what they eat in the fall, didn't really understand what they do when the pressure's on, what they do when predation's on, what slopes they prefer, what drainages are, and I thought everybody knew. And so I'm like, man, so remember, coming from Missouri, hunting multiple states, I'm a wanderer, I'm a venturer, guys.
Yeah.
I don't go to the same places twice. Everybody's like, Mark, you guys killed a big bull, or your buddy or whatever killed a big bull. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Well, next year, man, I said, well, I'm not going there.
You like seeing new land.
Well, why would you not? I said, because I'm 56 years old. I got a bucket list.
Yeah, dude.
So anyway, developing new spots.
It's more exciting when you're seeing new stuff the whole time anyway.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
But honestly, that's not probably the best tactic.
Right.
To kill bulls every single year. But what I'm saying is, all I do is hunt multiple states that I can't put boots on the ground.
Right.
All new areas. So all I'm doing year round, for years, for 20 years, all I've been doing is developing new hunting spots. So I've learned a few things. I'm not saying that I'm a giant killer. I'm not saying that, but I kill a lot of elk. I have a good percentage, and I find them like pretty regularly.
Nice.
So I decided I want to develop this, something.
Yeah.
Started out on YouTube, messing around, and then I said, you know what? I need to make it more of a course.
Yeah.
So I bought it like an educational platform.
Cool.
Started building it. I didn't know if anybody was going to take it.
Yeah.
And then it took me about a year and a half to build it, and it's been open for 2 years now, and I'm really excited about it now.
Yeah.
I would have never shared what I'm sharing now in my 30s.
Yeah.
Never. But now I'm like, I got to give back to the sport. Guys, as hunters, we have to help each other.
Right.
I'm not telling people, I'm not giving spots. I'm giving you some tools to help you develop your own spots.
Right.
So anyway, that was a long-winded, but that's how we're here.
No, that's cool, man. So it's a tool for guys like, for me, I'm coming from Virginia.
Yeah.
For example, planning this bear hunt and a bunch of hunts this year. I can't go out to Montana for a scouting trip.
Well, you want to spend your time hunting.
Right.
You could probably make a trip, but you're going to have to sacrifice your days.
Right.
And it's going to cost you money, whatever.
Sure.
But we also want to increase our odds, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to I don't know how much time you got, but most of us, in the seasons, they're only a finite amount of time.
Yeah.
And when you hit the ground, guys, when the boots hit the ground, you want to be as efficient and as effective and as organized and strategical and work through a hunt plan as you can.
For sure.
If you're out there just shotgunning it, you're going to be a 10% elk hunter. I always say this all the time. Guys, the odds are about 10% and actually less than that.
Yeah.
For out-of-staters, DIY, from the East, you're way less than 10%.
Yeah.
So if you want to be a 10% elk hunter, then keep acting like a 10% elk hunter.
Yeah.
But if you want to be a 50, 75% elk hunter, then start acting like one. And the guys that are at that level, they think about it a lot. I don't want to say obsess, but they plan, they strategize. They're on Google Earth. They're on all the tools. They're not using one tool. They're using multiple tools.
Yeah.
They're not one-dimensional. They're not looking at one feature over another. They're combining features. They're writing hunt plans, writing them. They've got primary areas, backup areas, secondary backup areas, third backup areas. They know how long it's going to take them to drive to point A, get to point B. They know how long it's going to take them to pack into Camp 1, Camp 2. You guys, so they don't just go out there and just work itself out.
Right.
The guys that I know that kill every freaking year, and I'm not saying kill big elk, I'm talking just kill elk.
Have success.
Consistently, year after year. Are the guys that adopt a lot of the strategies that I'm teaching in this course. So not only strategies like that, but really how to maximize your technology.
Yeah.
Guys, there's so many things out there. Not just OnX, not just Go Hunt, not just Gaia. All of them have their strengths and all of them have their weaknesses. So, but Google Earth is still the king of e-scouting.
Yeah, okay.
And I can't believe how many guys have started drifting away from it because these apps have gotten better, okay?
Right.
But they don't have historical imagery.
Google Earth is still kind of your bread and butter?
Oh, it's number one.
Okay.
Because it's
it's not that user friendly.
Not out of the box.
Okay. And so you're going to show people how to really get the most out of it.
When you download Google Earth, all you got is aerial photo views.
Yeah.
Now they're the best aerial photos. They're the highest quality. They're the most recent, and you've got historical. That's a key to be able to click back through a timeline and look at year after year after year to kind of see how's that fire progressed. How's that logging? How grown up is that logging area? When did they log it? You click back through till it's not logged.
Yeah.
And then you say about 2012. So you start saying, ooh, 2012, that's 10 years ago. That regrowth is going to, that reprod's going to be pretty high.
Yeah.
And pretty dang thick.
Yeah.
So maybe that's off the table. So you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
You can't do that with any other tool.
Yeah. So you're combining all the tools and kind of going in depth into each one.
Right. And so what people don't really understand is that there's so many third-party data sets that are available, right?
I had no idea.
So not many people know. So let me just run through a list. You can download all motor vehicle use maps in a KML, put them in Google Earth. Not many people know that. You can add a topo layer for the entire United States.
Wow.
Pure topographic. all the fires back to 1980.
We're recording something, bro. We're recording something. Just give me a couple minutes.
All
You're
the
okay.
fires since 1980. Okay, the apps only go back to like 2002.
Yeah.
Because it gets clustery. I get it. Cattle. Everybody's like in Colorado. Like, where are
That's
the
the big
cattle?
one.
Where are they not? It's all available.
Wow.
The hunting districts. You know, the borders. It's all available. The what else is there? Oh, snow. Where the current snow is. Like
wow.
right now. How deep the snow is. Is the snow? You're going bear hunting?
Yeah.
Dude, you got to know where that snow line is.
Yeah.
Well, you're not going to know it from Virginia.
Right.
But with that tool, it's money.
Awesome.
Money. You're going to drive to Trail 8A, right? Can I drive there?
Right.
Is there snow there? How deep is the snow? Is the snow deep? Is it not? You can tell now.
Yeah.
Most guys don't even know it exists in Google Earth. It's available. Historically, looking at...
So they have accurate, like, up-to-date snow level.
So here's the problem. Real time is not going to help you, right? Because now right before you go, you can look.
Right.
But let's say while you're planning right now, you're
See
like...
historically when it melts off.
Then it's got historic... what I do is I download 5 years of one day. Like if I'm going to go on March 15th, I will go to this site that I show you in the course. I will download 5 years of snow level, and I'll look. And I'll be like, okay, pretty much every year, for the most part, about 7,000 feet is where that snow line is on May 15th.
That's legit.
So is that perfect? No. But it gives you some planning.
Right.
And then right before you go, you check the current.
That's cool.
And kind of verify everything.
Yeah, I can't wait to check this stuff
Dude, that's
out.
money.
Yeah.
And Gaia, just for example.
Like you said, it's not specific to elk either.
No,
like you
anything.
use it. Yeah,
it's not got anything to do with hunting. That's why nobody knows about it.
Right.
It's a snow research site.
But I mean, like your courses. I mean, you can use it for a wide variety of species.
Guys,
like,
all the technology is the same.
Yeah.
All the layers in Google Earth are used for all species. Now, in the course, we do focus on elk, but guys that want to use it for others, yes. But I am working on a really comprehensive bear one.
Yeah.
I'm working on a mule deer one, and I've got some partners coming in on some of these, and I'm working on dehydrated meals, doing your own meals. That's
nice.
one of my other things.
That's cool.
I mean, I stayed in the tent over 100 days last year.
Yeah.
You can't eat. No disrespect. If you ate Mountain House for 100 days, I don't think you'd make it.
You probably would.
The salt content that preserved it.
Just blow up.
But if you're eating Mountain House for 7 days, well, there's Heather with Heather's Choice right behind you.
Yep, there she is.
I mean, you got to eat food of that level.
Right.
Okay? But when you're hunting 100 days, I love Heather Choice's food. I can't really afford 100 days of her food. Right?
It adds up.
7, no problem.
You got to supplement with homemade
So,
stuff.
great product. If you're only going for 7-10 days, don't do your own food.
Yeah.
But if you're going for, start doing 100 days.
And you know exactly what you like, you can tweak it. So it sounds like there's a ton of really cool resources in your courses. I'm looking forward to checking them out. I do want to ask you one bear specific question.
Let's shoot.
Selfish question.
It's bear season almost.
Yeah, okay. So
we got a bear skull here, and that's a dang nice bear skull.
It is, yeah. That's I think Dennis from Initial Scent shot
That's a legit bear.
So I'm just pretty new to Western bear hunting, and I'm looking at topo maps and stuff like that, looking where I'm going to go. And normally you're going to want to stay up high and be glassing for deer and elk and stuff like that. But I was thinking, like, is it kind of the opposite for bear? You kind of want to stay down and glass up?
Both.
Or both, okay.
So, I don't usually share this, but I'm going to share something on this podcast. And I know I sound like a broken record, but in Google Earth, there's a tool. You know what? I'm not even going to tell you the name of the tool. I'm just going to say, to give you a little tantalizing.
Is it in the course?
It's in the course.
Okay.
There's a tool in Google Earth that not hardly anybody knows about because it's not in the menu. You can't select it from the menu. There's another way you have to select it. But you go to a point, okay, and you say drop a waypoint. You say, you go into the settings on that waypoint. You say change you make it, it's called relative to the ground, and you make it 2.2 meters from the ground. So 6 foot, right?
Yeah.
So that's your standing height, right?
Right.
So basically you're elevating that waypoint 6 feet off the ground.
Uh-huh.
And then the tool, when you activate the tool, it shows you in highlighted color what you can see from that point exactly.
No way.
It shades the colors of the slope. It shades the colors of the slope to what you. So what can you think about? Okay, now what does that mean? You start moving that waypoint around until you can see the most.
Dude,
and you start thinking, like glassing from the bottom is difficult.
Yeah.
The only way you can glass really effectively from the bottom looking up is if the slope is steep enough.
Right.
So when you're looking at a topo map, you're like, is it or isn't it?
Yeah.
How do you know? Turn the tool on.
That's cool.
If it's shaded, you can see it. If it's not,
that's legit.
You can't. Because what it is, it's a line of sight tool.
That's cool.
So I did some research, and I think the reason that tool got in there originally is, I'm guessing, guys, somebody's going to call me out on this, but I'm guessing that about the time when Google Earth came out is when they were putting up cell towers like crazy. And it was designed for line of sight. Like if we put a tower here,
right,
and it was this high,
yeah, what
is the line of sight for the signal?
Yeah.
So they can move the tower around at different peaks to get
That's
the
sick.
most, right?
That's so much.
But
like,
now we can use that same tool, which is so underrated, so underused.
Yeah. You can see how effective a glassing spot will be.
And I can't tell you, one little move and bam, you can see the whole thing.
Wow.
And what really helps is, now everybody's like, well, when I climb up there, I'm going to know if I move. Well, how about you know before you even climb up there?
Yeah.
And waste
all that time and
3,000 foot
energy.
climb.
Yeah.
And you climb up there and you can't see what you thought you could see.
Yeah. So,
good pro tip.
But like, you're not necessarily running ridges. Are you? I mean, you said you do both for bear.
Here's the deal. I'm going to give you another bear tip. You're trying to pick my brain on the bears. Guys, on the bears. Now again, it's like elk. It's like my course. Can you find bears down in the bottom next to the rivers in the spring? Yes. They love down there. In that riparian, they love it. Are they going to be in the snow? Yes. Will they be right on the snow line? Yes. Will they be somewhere in between? Yes. Okay, that sounds like, Mark, they're everywhere, right? No. They are, they can be, just like elk, they can be everywhere. But guys, I play the odds.
Right, where are they the most?
In my years, and my success, and my theory on this is 750 feet below the snow to maybe 1,000 feet in elevation, elevation change is about the amount of time, like a week to 10 days, for the bulbs and the forbs and the flowers to punch through, not necessarily the green grass yet.
Right.
But there will be green. It's at the borderline of the green zone, right? Them bears love those forbs.
Yeah.
So I concentrate most of my glassing 700 feet below the snow. Like, okay, well that makes sense, but how the hell do I do that if I live in Virginia?
Right.
So think about what we just said.
Go back to your tools that you learned in your course.
Our topo layers, right? Now we've got the snow level, and now the snow level
and you can see where you can see from it.
That's right. All right, you're putting it together. But how do you know where the snow line is when you get out there? So you know it when you're at home and you got in this big basin. How do you know where it's at? What I do is I trace a path in Google Earth where the snow line is or where I think it's going to be when I verify it before I drive out. So when I get to the trailhead, I'm looking at the map, I can see my line. I know, even though it may be out of sight, I know where it's at. So now I know where that 750 is.
Yeah.
Then I test the glassing spots. What spot can I see the most? 750 feet below the snow.
Dang.
And dude, it's a game changer.
This whole thing's on that game
What
changer.
I just said, guys, I hope you're paying attention because what I just said just killed a lot of bears.
Yeah.
I'm not joking.
And that's just a little bit of your course.
Tiny, man.
I can't wait to check it out, man.
Yeah.
It sounds really cool. Anything else in the works or anything cool or just...
I mean...
You got any other adventures planned this year besides bear season?
So I've got... What am I doing this year? I'm hunting... I got in line with everybody else and I was fortunate enough to get my Idaho tags. I have Idaho, elk and deer.
Nice.
I have Montana, obviously elk and deer. I live in Montana. And then I'm in the draw. I got about a 30% chance of getting a Wyoming tag.
Okay.
I just put in my New Mexico, just put in my Arizona.
Nice.
I'm getting close to drawing Arizona. So I probably will do Utah, over-the-counter, mass population hunt.
Yeah.
Considering Colorado. So I'll probably be 4 states, 4 tags. That's kind of what I like.
Cool, man.
Bear season, though, I'm going for 4 bears this year. My goal is 4 bears.
Okay.
Wyoming, 2 Idaho, 1 Montana is my goal. Wyoming's still on the list. they've got a quota thing that I still got to think about. Like, they close the season when it gets a certain number.
Right.
And I like to hunt right in the time of year. I like to hunt, not the end of the season, but 3/4 of the way through. So that's another thing. So guys, I know it's exciting to go bear hunting. Being there on opening day may not be the best idea.
I've heard.
And here's why. The bear population is big, guys, but it's not near as big as elk and mule deer, right? And the bear success rates are good, but they're not near the levels even of the bear and elk, right? They're low. So do you really want to hunt half of the bears?
Right.
If you go out early, yes, there's going to be bears out, but it's odds game. But you're looking for 50% of already a low population, right?
Yeah.
Now, some of the bigger bears do come out early, okay?
Right.
But they're still out later.
Yeah.
So
might as well go in there.
I prefer to and the snow lines have receded a little more. It's a little easier to manage driving the roads.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's less people because they've all kind of shot their wad early.
Yeah.
And I just find that March, well, different states, but that May 15th-ish to June 15th is kind of that magic month.
Cool. Cool, man. Well, I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to jumping into the course and maybe have you back on the podcast later for a longer format.
Some details.
Yeah.
I mean, I really hate talking about it, as you can tell. So thanks for having me, Hunter.
Thanks,
Pleasure.
man. Appreciate you.
Okay.
All right.